Hey guys, Paeter Franson here from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions with my uncut review of The Changeling, episodes 1 and 2 on Apple TV+. The synopsis on IMDb reads, set in an alternate New York City, which I don't know what's alternate about it yet, a father and husband searches through a magical world for his abducted son and missing wife. I guess we're going to get to the magical world stuff. I've not seen that. I'm just talking about episodes 1 and 2. The description for episode 1 on Apple TV Plus says a bookseller from Queens meets a librarian from Virginia. They fall in love, marry, have a baby, and trigger an unimaginable series of events. And then the episode 2 description, the exhaustion of new parenthood is taking its toll on Emma and Apollo. To make matters worse, Emma starts getting strange texts. So basically you've got these two people that we discover over the course of various flashbacks and things like that have had some supernatural or mysterious things that seem supernatural in their pasts, from, in one case, a little while ago, in another case, way back, a long time ago in childhood, and those things are kind of unresolved in their minds and their experience, and so as they come into this relationship together, as time passes, those things from their past, those weird events, start kind of catching up and having an effect on their relationship, their marriage, their family today. And that's the main source of drama, of tension, of suspense. I would describe it as a supernatural horror drama, but with an emphasis on drama. So the supernatural elements are very significant, but they are sparse. You know, you could sit down and miss parts of the show and watch 15 minutes of it and not know that it's necessarily supernatural. You might think, oh, is this psychological? Is this person kind of losing their mind or whatever, you know? Much of the drama involves mysteries that are likely, very, very likely, of a supernatural origin. I would be surprised and disappointed if we find out later on, no, they're just imagining things. I don't think that's the case. But even though it has this supernatural origin, the drama has... The supernatural elements have relatable effects. So there's conflict between the husband and wife. There's tension and disagreement with the family. There's emotional fragility from exhaustion. There's distrust at times, outbursts of anger from people that are otherwise loving and really trying to be a good spouse. There are also supernatural events in the history of both characters, as I said, that have these present-day ripple effects, similar to adults dealing with maybe abuse or trauma from their childhood. So there's still that sense of relatability, even though if you source it back in the context of the story, it has a supernatural origin. But so that moment-to-moment drama I found to be pretty relatable despite the supernatural source. The story is told occasionally in a nonlinear fashion, jumping back now and then, you know, like 6 months or to childhood or even to the lives of their young parents. The present-day relevance of their personal and family histories are a major component. I didn't feel lost with this jumping around, but I did find that I really had to pay attention. It's not suspenseful in like a white-knuckle sense, like, oh my gosh, is someone about to die, but more of an ominous dread. Is Emma going insane? What might she do to herself or to the baby? Is there something lurking in Apollo that will suddenly become dangerous unexpectedly? The revelations are really delivered with in a slow drip feed. I don't think I'll watch episodes to get answers. That's not going to be the draw for me, but rather for the advancement of the problem and seeing how the characters deal with the problem getting worse and advancing. But I will still likely wait until the series is complete and binge in part because of that slow drip feed of answers. As far as the cast goes, I thought there were really great performances here. Apollo, the actor that plays him, does a nice job of portraying him as awkward. The actress playing Emma is quirky. So the characters, I assume not just on the written page, but in the performances as well, have these kind of layers to them that make them interesting and not just one note. And they both, as performers, have a great emotional access, I think. So I felt really invested in the reality of the moments as they were delivering their scenes. Plenty of the story is told in performance over dialogue only. That's not to say that dialogue is sparse at all. No, they're talking all the time. But there's more going on than just what's coming out of their mouths. There's a lot of great subtext that add some nice layers to things. And the performers, I think, are well suited to that that style of storytelling. As far as stunts and visuals, it's not effects heavy at all, but it's very artistic in the way that the camera is used, the way that images are shown to us. They're using, I don't know lenses, so I couldn't say what the right lens is, almost like a fisheye lens that warps the edges of the screen just a little bit to draw your attention to the center, and then also there'll be a very limited focus, and so sometimes things will be getting blurry around the periphery of the shot. And so there's something about just the way this thing is edited, the way the story is told, that's kind of artistic, not in a weird, I don't understand kind of way, but in a very, I think, effective way to draw out the drama and what's going on. I mean, one example would be, when the grown woman is thinking back to a past childhood event. At first, they've been showing that flashback with her portrayed by a child actor, but then when she kind of gets a new revelation about it, a fresh understanding of it, they show that flashback, and then she, as an adult actress, is inserted into that. So it kind of, which conveys to us, okay, now she as an adult is really seeing this memory with fresh eyes, so just little simple things like that are artistic, but that still convey layers of story that can be understood. So yeah, it really feels premium. And as I think about some of the Apple TV Plus shows, they don't have near as much new stuff coming out as some of the other streaming services. But I think on average, the stuff I've seen on Apple TV Plus is of a higher caliber of filmmaking on average than what I've seen from Netflix or Amazon. And so they really seem to be pushing for quality over quantity. And I've appreciated that, especially since, on kind of a level that not a lot of people maybe notice. I think IGN did an article kind of pointing this out. There's a lot of great science fiction happening on Apple TV Plus that's been kind of building up over the last couple of years, including Severance, which is, one of my favorite shows of all time. So anyway, this is following that trend of very premium quality television. As far as relevance goes, is there anything of moral, philosophical, or spiritual significance going on in the themes here that might trigger some worthwhile thought or conversation? Well, it's supernatural horror, so you've got supernatural evil at work, and interestingly, Christian faith is presented as a potential solution, but in a more superstitious sense. So, like, salvation is purposed as rescuing from evil beings in the world. It's not about rescuing from sin, obtaining eternal life, restoring your relationship with God. When someone talks about wanting someone else to be saved, then another character says, well, saved from what? And the response is from, like, basically the evil beings in this world. So it really kind of has a superstitious sort of focus. Or baptism is proposed as a solution to possible demonic possession. I'm like, okay, well, that's an interesting way to kind of look at the purpose of baptism. It's not a biblical, not the biblical focus of baptism, but notably to me, though, in this supernatural story context, it's not the Catholic faith that's kind of that's the stand-in for Christianity, but an unspecified, Protestant form of Christianity. So I'm going to be curious to see what or who, if anyone, ultimately has power over the evil forces in the world, just because they're presenting Christianity as this possible kind of like opposing worldview or opposing tool or something like that to the evil supernatural forces, doesn't mean that in the story ultimately those elements will prevail and bring victory over the evil. So that remains to be seen. There are also relevant themes for just so many people related to working through baggage or trauma from our pasts, and kind of what that can result in without us intending it to in our relationships today. Just the dysfunction and conflict that can surface in our relationships because of those things in our past. So I think that's an easy springboard as well for some thought or conversation after watching at least the first 2 episodes. Now, I have no idea what your tastes are in TV, but if I were a time traveler, I'd go back in time and say, Paeter, watch this one, but wait until at least the whole season, but probably the whole series is done. The characters, the story, very engaging, but it's based on a novel, and it shows. The episodes are like chapters. You're going to want to know that the whole story is complete before you truly commit, truly invest, and start this one with any intention of seeing it through. Otherwise, you could risk, as you have in the past, a frustrating lack of resolution if it's not popular enough to be renewed until the story is done being told. This one is rated TVMA. I couldn't find a blow for blow of why, but I think it's for language, sexuality, and disturbing themes. And those are all of my thoughts for now on The Changeling, episodes 1 and 2 on Apple TV+. As always, I would love to get your thoughts and reactions in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, click that bell to stay connected. I want to thank the Spirit Blade Insiders for making this review possible. You can get info about the benefits of joining over at patreon.com/spiritbladeproductions. Then, as always, I hope you'll check out our podcast and stay connected to all CGC content over at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth. For more chat about geek entertainment, answers to your questions, and news from the wider world of Christian geekery, get the Christian Geek Central podcast today on iTunes and other podcast services.